All right, everyone, welcome back to another Game Vault video. And boy, if I didn't call this one, I called this one several times. Assassin's Creed Shadows delayed yet again. And will this game be the end of Ubisoft? Let's cue up the music and we're going to talk about this one. All right, we all know that 2024 was not a good year for Ubisoft. Several games released last year that didn't do so well. Started off with Skull and Bones, which underperformed severely. Star Wars Outlaws, underperformed. Prince of Persia, underperformed. Are you sensing a trend here? This game here, Assassin's Creed Shadows, was due to release in November. When the trailer was announced and put out there, it received heavy backlash for obvious reasons. The main protagonist of the game, Yusuke, is a black man. Now, normally that wouldn't be a big deal, but this is a game set in feudal Japan. And Yusuke is a samurai that really wasn't a samurai. Based off of some fan fiction made by a guy named Thomas Lockley, who went in and actually edited the Wikipedia to support his little grifter book about Yusuke and all this other nonsense. So yeah, it was a garbage claim by a garbage man who tried to invent history for a guy that was really no more than a blip in the history of Japan, and make him out to be more than he wanted to be, just so he could sell books. And boy, he sold some books on it, and he turned a lot of idiots into believers here. But whatever the case may be, it created a lot of backlash. And even if he was a samurai, it's still a very odd choice to be the protagonist in a game set in feudal Japan, because let's face it, when you think of feudal Japan, you don't think of a guy like Yusuke as the main protagonist. You think of a Japanese guy. But anyway, to make a long story short, yeah, they delayed that till February. And ever since they made that delay, I predicted they would delay it further. And they have. Now it looks like it's being delayed again. So let's get into the article here. It says Ubisoft's delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows for a second time, pushing its release back to March 20th, 2025. Originally set for November 12th, 2024, and later moved to February 14th, 2025. The game's development continues to be plagued by delays. This game could be catastrophic for Ubisoft, and it's possible the company's very survival banks on it. Given everything we've seen up to this point, along with a major decline in ongoing public sentiment, it's not looking good for the French developer. All right, here's what it says on their post that they put out on X yesterday. Dear players, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to our incredible fans and dedicated teams for your unwavering support since our announcement in September to further refine and polish Assassin's Creed Shadows. Since November, we've been thrilled to share our progress through gameplay overviews and the overwhelming excitement that has truly inspired us. Each week has brought valuable feedback from our community. While we've already made remarkable strides, we believe a few additional weeks are needed to implement that feedback and ensure an even more ambitious and engaging day one experience. Accordingly, the new release date is March 20th, 2025. We remain committed to delivering a high-quality, immersive experience fostered by ongoing dialogue between our players and development teams. We know you're eager to learn more about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and we're excited to share that. And we're excited to share that more updates will be coming your way very soon. Marc Alexis Cote, on behalf of all teams working on Assassin's Creed Shadows. So I will give them this. More developers need to do this sort of thing. So many developers remain silent when there's delays and won't tell you about a delay until last minute. So kudos to Ubisoft for doing this. We're more than a month out from the release date, and they're letting us know. They're not waiting for the last minute. So good for them. You know, people that were wanting to book some time off to play the game. And yes, we as gamers will do that. And you guys that aren't gamers, you want to make fun of us for doing that. Hey, spend your vacation time however you want. A lot of gamers will book a day or two off just to get into a new game and start it off. Might be weird to you, but whatever. But anyway, their official statement framed the delay as a decision to ensure quality as part of the renewed focus on gameplay, yada, yada. So, day one experience quality would be a refreshing change of pace for Ubisoft. Its release of Star Wars Outlaws last year saw a slew of game-breaking bugs and glitches at launch. Things got so bad that PlayStation gamers who paid for early access to the game had their save files wiped by a bug fix prior to the full launch. Yeah, that sucked. So you paid for like the super duper intergalactic special edition of Star Wars, right? And I'm just making fun of all the special editions they put out now. But you paid for that, and you got your extra skins and all that other little nonsense, and you got 3 days or 4 days or whatever of early access. So you got to play the game early, cool, awesome, and all that. You made some advancements and all that, and then the day one patch came out, and it reset your game. That sucked. That really sucked for people, I'm sure. I didn't play the game. I wanted nothing to do with Star Wars. To me, Star Wars is a dead brand, but I'd be pissed. I'd be really pissed if that was the case. So my heart goes out to you guys that had to go through that. Who knows how many, gamers, again, we will go full throttle those first couple of days on the game. We're sitting there with wide-eyed and slack-jawed. We haven't eaten in 2 days and we smell funny because, we've just been pouring hours and hours. Somehow we put 86 hours in on a 72-hour period into a game. I don't know how we did it, but we did it. So, yeah, I feel bad for those guys. That sucks. So, for them wanting to put some more polish on the game and all that before it comes out, great. Is it going to help with this release? No, this game's going to not be successful. It's going to underperform. Now, will it be a failure? No, it's not going to be a failure because Assassin's Creed is too big to fail. Okay, it's too big of a name to fail. But it will underperform, that much I guarantee. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot mirrored this quality sentiment, emphasizing the game's ambition while attempting to soften the blow, saying, "We are all behind our team's efforts to create the most ambitious Assassin's Creed opus of the franchise, and made the decision to provide an extra month of development to Shadows in order to better incorporate the player feedback gathered over the past 3 months that will enable us to fully deliver the potential of the game and finish the year on a strong note." You noticed we're trying to get it in before the end of the fiscal year. This is Ubisoft's second delay for Shadows, and for a game meant to revitalize the franchise, the optics are troubling, but it's far from the first troubling or concerning report on this title. One of the most contentious aspects of Shadows is its deviation from franchise norms. Unlike previous titles where historical figures like Leonardo da Vinci, George Washington, or Cleopatra have served as NPC allies, offering guidance and missions, Shadows introduces Yasuke, a historical black samurai, as the playable protagonist instead of an original male Japanese assassin. And this marks the first time an Assassin's Creed game has centered on a real-life figure, a decision that has not been well received by all corners of the fan base. Many players feel Yasuke's inclusion is a forced departure from the series' DNA and insulting to the Japanese culture that's supposed to be celebrated in Shadows. This led many to question Ubisoft's motives, given the company's history of delving into identity politics and DEI initiatives within the world of games. Critics argue that Ubisoft has bent historical accuracy to fit modern cultural trends rather than staying true to the franchise's ethos, all to chase social clout and promote specific ideologies. And you're not wrong here. We saw the original footage of him in a fight, and they had hip-hop music playing. I mean, hip-hop music. This is a game set in feudal Japan. Hip-hop music. How much more cringe can you get, Absolutely. It's completely... There's so many little things going on in this game. There's a stolen flag. There's just all kinds of little things. It just feels like this game was done... They tried to pander so hard, and they did it in such a half-assed way that it was insulting. And I remember when people really started to push back and say it was insulting to Japanese culture, and the media shills and all that are like, oh, this is just a bunch of white people complaining about it. Japan doesn't care. And then Japanese people started to speak up, and they did care. They were insulted, and you don't blame them. And, to me, I wasn't insulted on behalf of Japan. I don't try to carry water for anybody else, but I was like, this is stupid. And it's obvious pandering, and it's just insulting to me as a gamer. Like you think I don't see what you're doing. You think I haven't watched the games that have been coming out for the past 5 years and longer. And I can't see this trend, this pattern that's going on, and recognize just what a blatant pandering attempt this is. Come on, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, The decision to feature Yasuke also alienated many longtime fans who've been clamoring for a feudal Japan setting for over a decade. Many anticipated a more traditional Japanese male protagonist, a samurai ninja or assassin rooted in local culture. Instead, Ubisoft's choice left many feeling disconnected from the experience they envisioned. Combined with delays, these frustrations paint a grim picture. Ubisoft struggled to maintain trust with its player base, and controversies surrounding Shadows have only added fuel to the fire. How are you supposed to be stealthy? An assassin, right? A guy that sticks to the shadows and secretly kills people and then gets away with it when you're the only dude in the country that looks the way you do. You're going to raise suspicion wherever you go. Oh my goodness, this guy died. Hey, the big black fellow was there. Wow, that's weird. The other place where the other guy died, that big black fellow was there too. Wonder what's going on. Think he might be the killer? Nah, it's just a coincidence. Come on, man. It's so stupid. Absolutely ridiculous. And Ubisoft, man, their stock has been plummeting. They've had people striking on them. It's just been a mess for them. Ubisoft's financial struggles have been well documented. As that Park Place has previously reported, these delays come at a critical time for the French developer. The company's experienced a significant decline in market value from $12.17 billion in 2021 to $1.78 billion in 2025, 85% down. Debts are exceeding $2 billion, and the company's upside down. They're facing looming threats of a buyout or bankruptcy in 2025. One of the companies looking to maybe do this is Tencent, which we talked about the other day, who's listed as possibly a Chinese military company by the U.S. What's that mean in all this thing? Holy cow, it's a total mess out there right now in gaming. Absolutely insane. Anyway, if Assassin's Creed Shadows fails, the company could face losses in the hundreds of millions, which would almost certainly spell certain doom. What do you guys think, man? Do you think this game is going to sell? Do you think it's going to sell well? What do you think? How many copies? The last game like this in the Assassin's Creed style of open world like this was Valhalla. And if memory serves, that one didn't do so well until it started going on sale and they started doing like the editions with all the DLC involved and all that. And Ubisoft tends to put their games on sale fairly quickly. So I don't know, man. I think they're in trouble. This one might cook them. Leave your comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that bell for notifications. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, peace.